I am joined by Taylor football head coach Ron Korfmacher to look ahead to the 2021 spring season for the Taylor football team. Coach, what is it like to finally get the season here after such a long wait?
You're right. It's been a long wait, but it's been a long time in preparation. These months, it's been 15 months since we've been together as a football team competing against an opponent. And many of those months we've been together, many of those months we've been apart. But this last stretch has been really outstanding. Had a few weather things that we had to bypass, but it looks pretty clear now. And just heading into the season, we're excited to kick off.
It's game week this week. You're going down to Marian on Saturday. Has there been a different anticipation this week at practice with the guys knowing that they're finally getting to play a game after those 15 months away?
Yeah, it begins to build. But I would say we've had good focus, good attention, good follow through, great effort all the way up and all the way through. On Saturday, the effort and the will and the energy is going to be there. We also got to execute. We got to execute, do our jobs, do our assignments, play great fundamental football. It's going to come down to not just in our opener, but week after week, tackling, blocking, handling the ball, stealing the ball, disrupting it, on defense. So, and doing the same thing on special teams, most basic of football. And we know that going in, and that's where our focus is going to be.
You guys have obviously had to make a lot of changes to your preparation schedule in the fall and now here in the spring. What are some of those big changes that you guys had to make going all the way back to the fall?
Yeah, looking back, there's almost too many to recall because we're in a consistent spot, and we are going to kind of stay in that moment and look forward. But looking back, we had a lot of alternate day practices, alternate day lifts. We had our share of stops and starts. Again, it sounds cliche, but a lot of twists and turns. But like the core of it, we've continued on. Sometimes we've had players miss or groups of players miss because of any number of things, primarily contact tracing. But the core kept going, kept working. So I think we've got an experienced and a mature roster through it all. And the good news with the freshmen that have come in, they're more college ready now than they would have been, 2 or 3 weeks into classes, like a normal August, September. So we're excited about where we're at and where the roster's headed.
A big senior class for you and the coaching staff this year. How much of a role have they played and how important have they been? Not just getting the whole team ready, but maybe in particular getting those freshmen game ready with Saturday quickly approaching.
Yeah, they've had a great measure in that. I mean, there's some things we've been limited, in terms of just we've had our practices and our workouts together. Outside that, there's some limited team time that you can really spend together. We haven't traveled together. We've had few meals together. So they've done a good job given the circumstances, and they provided steady, like steadfast mind, leadership. And that's what we want to build on as we continue to play, as we continue to face some challenges in game and out of game, in the middle of the week on Saturdays. Every game is going to have its share of adversity. You got to work through it. You got to keep executing through it and doing it together as a team.
7-game season for you and the Trojans this year, all against MSFA Mid-East teams. Does that help with such a familiarity, knowing you see these teams in and out every season?
Yeah, I think there's so many differences and changes leading into this one. I can't compare it to other things. Now, yes, we do have familiar venues, you know what I mean, being those 7 teams. But some of those teams have different coordinators, different coaches, certainly different rosters. And our team has some of those similarities. We have a new defensive coordinator. We have a different roster than 15 months ago. And not only different people, but the maturity in our people in the roster. So there's some similarities, but when you kick it off, it's going to come down to the same things: blocking, tackling, handling the ball extremely well, stealing it, playing great special teams, the most basic fundamentals of football, whether it's February and cold or whether it's, August, September and hot.
Oh, that's a great segue to my next question. I think the other big change this year, obviously with the moving the schedule to the spring, is it doesn't feel very spring-like outside. It might the last couple of days with the temperature being in the 50s, but there are mountains of snow both on Turner Stadium and on Wheeler, the practice field. How much of a factor do you think the weather could play this season?
Yeah, I don't think in the season a lot. I would say, fortunately, we got kind of a short memory. We had a good January, good fall. The first 2 weeks of February have been a bear. And here we are in a great week and a great, kind of template leading into this game and this week's preparations. So maybe a short memory on the weather, and it's getting better. It's only going to get better. So, and our preparation will be, it'll be at its peak. premium preparation. So we had a couple hard weeks there, in terms of playing surface, indoor, outdoor, limited minutes, but we're back on track.
Offensively, it all starts at the quarterback position with Zach Saltzgaber. What has his leadership brought to bringing everyone along offensively here before the season starts?
Yeah, really good. And he's not alone at it. To what you said, bringing everyone along, it's a group of guys, seniors and other leaders up and down our roster. But Zach's been steady, works hard, works extremely hard year round, daily, in and out of the weight room, on and off the practice field. Maintains relationships that are really mature and healthy. I mean, he's a good leader through and through. Other guys follow him. Other guys learn from that leadership, and other guys bring their element of leadership and maturity to the roster as well.
What are some of the other positions that you guys are looking to make an impact offensively this year?
Well, every position, but offensively, I think in the backfield we've got some returning letterman, returning experience in the running back positions, at receiver positions, our tight end role up front. We're excited about what those men will do together. And then at quarterback, Zach's a dual threat. This time, Elijah's backing him up, and Elijah as well is a complete quarterback. So we're excited there. I think on the other side of the ball, the defensive line and the front seven is where we have the most depth and experience in our roster, and at linebacker and at defensive line. So it runs up and down the roster. Those same positions are going to show up in special teams largely, with our core on the offense and defense in the secondary, linebacker level, wideouts, running backs. They're going to show up in our special teams as well.
Well, Korf, it's been a long time coming for the Taylor football team to get their season here. It's finally here. Best of luck against Marian on Saturday, and best of luck with the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you very much.
That is Taylor football head coach Ron Korfmacher joining me today to stay up to date with everything Taylor football. Just log on to TaylorTrojans.com.